Guys, I'm so happy that we were able to arrange this because the paddock was really depressed after the last round that you guys are not going to be around. But first, what is your background? Because not everybody knows you because you are those characters that keep the riders from the media away. So, what's your background? What did you do before being in the motorcycle business?
Right, Alberto.
Why, Alberto?
Well, first of all, I'm Spanish because so many people maybe don't know our nationalities. I'm Spanish from Madrid, and I studied journalism in the Universidad Complutense in Madrid. And then I started to work in Marca newspaper, which is the most famous newspaper in Spain. It's a kind of Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy, or L'Equipe in France. And I worked there for almost 17 years. So it was a life there inside. And then I switched to the dark side of the communication. I started in Yamaha in 2013 as a media officer, and I worked there for 4 years. And then I switched to Suzuki MotoGP, and I joined Federico there for 6 years. And we ended this nice adventure in last December, as you know. And well, that's my background.
And you, Fede?
My background, first of all, I'm Italian. And no, I spent, after college, I spent almost 13 years in advertising and strategic communication. But as a side job, I was doing journalism with some magazines in Italy, testing bikes and this kind of stuff. But I started collaborating with some Moto2 teams in the MotoGP Championship. And then in end of 2014, I decided to take the big leap and leave my old job and try to do something on my own. And that's when basically Suzuki called me, Davide Brivio, with that time there was Lara Rodini managing the marketing. And they called me and they asked me to join the team. And it was 2015, so the very, very first year of Suzuki back in MotoGP after the withdrawal in 2011. And basically we started from zero. I started in Sepang 2 test in 2015, and there was nothing, literally nothing in the communication office. So at that time, there was also Atsumi Tsukamoto, our colleague. She was taking care of the guests and the marketing activities. And so it was the two of us. And after 2 years, Alberto Gomez joined us as the boss. Actually, I was supposed to take his role, but then Davide came to me and said, listen, there is Alberto Gomez, he's free. He's good. What do you think? And I said, okay. But at the end of the day, I spent 8 years in MotoGP in Suzuki, and 6 of them were with Alberto. And I must say that now, jokes apart, it's been a very good journey because the good thing is that after December, I bring home a friend more than a colleague or a boss, and we always work together, how it worked in these years. And both of us becoming from journalism, we share the same vision, and it was really easy to work together.
Was there like a strategy in your work? I mean, did you sit down in the beginning of the project and say, okay, we're gonna do this, because that's gonna work? Because Suzuki was the smallest project in the paddock in terms of factory teams. So was the whole work that you did, because you did an awesome job, because as you saw during the last round, everyone appreciated this. Was it planned that that you're gonna be such an open team, or was it something that also Japan wanted? What was the idea?
Well, it's difficult to explain because at the beginning when I arrived, I remember Fede struggles a lot with the management, and I realized that it could be difficult because Japanese management is always quite on work, in terms of marketing and communication. So they don't really, I don't know if they don't appreciate pretty much our job, but I think they don't value or they don't give the value enough that this work had. And I remember when I arrived, I spoke to Fede and Natsumi, and the only goal was to grow and grow digitally because for example, with the website, because we didn't have website at that moment, and from the communication point of view, we wanted to grow digitally in social media as well, and also. I remember speaking a lot with Fede to try to feel the journalist at home. I mean, we are both journalists, as he told before, and we agree that we needed to be flexible with journalists. We needed to try to help as much as possible regularly the journalists, and I think I don't know if we achieve completely because. Yeah, it's never easy to balance, no, and the position we are, because we are in the middle of the fireworks all the time, and everyone is shooting us, no, from media to mechanics to engineers to sponsors to. So it's not easy to keep the balance, but I think we mostly achieve what we wanted, even. Considering all the difficulties that we struggle and we face in the meantime, no, and we work together really well. I think we agree so many times in so many ideas, and we develop together so many strategies and also nice things that we. And now I'm remembering a lot of really nice and funny things. For example, with this nice idea that Fede came up in Japan with the wings when we contact Movember Foundation, no, and this such stuff for us was unbelievable, and what we achieve even with all these difficulties is something we need to be really proud of, and especially, and as Fede said, I also have to say that apart from the job, apart from the differences, and apart from the workouts and all that kind of stuff, I bring to me forever a friend, no, with Fede, and this is the most important thing overall.
Was Davide Brivio like main person that brought the team together when you joined, guys? Was he the person also, because he's one of the sweetest guys on earth, as I know him? So was he also a part of this PR project? Because before working with Valentino, working with Yamaha for so many years, he knows the business.
Well, my feeling is that before talking about how we achieved what we did, because of course, when you make a communication or marketing plan, you have to make a strategy. But my feeling is that everything worked so well, not because we had a strategy, but because before the strategy, we had some basic values that we stick to. So basically, the strategy was a consequence of the values that Alberto and I shared. No, so the vision that we had about the communication and how it should be done and how we want it to be done. No, and so the strategy was a consequence, not the starting point. And said this, I lived the work of Davide almost since the very beginning. I was not there in 2014, but I joined very soon. And what I saw from Davide was his extraordinary capability to choose the right people and put them in the good place. So sure thing, he has most of the merit of putting together an extraordinary group of people at all levels. I mean, mechanics, engineers, our side. This is something that is, I think, somehow even more important than entering in day by day marketing strategy or communication strategy. On this side, he let us very, very free to work with the good side and the bad side of this. No, of course, everything has positives and negatives, but a part of the constraint that we received from Japan that he tried to mitigate in somehow, we could develop our own vision and our own strategy. So this is what I most appreciate of the Davide's management in our field.
Yeah, from my side, I think also I agree with Fede that the environment created in the team by Davide was crucial. And we were able to develop maybe 80-90% of our ideas. You always struggle, obviously, because all the top management, all the bosses, they try to control everything. They try to manage and to be on top of everything. So it's not easy to find the breaches, where you can enter and you can convince them to go on and carry on with the new ideas. But overall, I think we were fortunate and we were lucky to have a special team boss in that side who permit us to develop these kind of creativities. But also, I think he was in the middle when we struggled or we faced Suzuki Motor Corporation, and he tried to push from his side all the time as much as possible. And and part of the success in some things, I think, they're coming from his pushing, with Japan, and this is something we appreciate a lot.
Before we move on to the championship, the pandemic stuff, I want to touch base on the riders side of things, because you are the guys who really keep them from saying too much, keep them from saying stuff that don't need to be said. So how would you value the riders that you work with? Who was the easiest one? Who understood your job and understood the media relations, and who was the one who just didn't care and just did what he wanted to do? Now you can say that.
honestly, this is a question that personally I've been asked many times. I don't feel not only fair but also possible to make a classification of the riders, because my starting point is that we must always keep in mind that we are not talking about puppies. We are talking about people. I mean, they are riders, they are ambassadors, of course, but they're just human beings. And being human beings, they have good days, bad days, frustrations, happiness, all the emotions, no? And our job, and this is something that with Alberto we agreed, we were both on the same page since minute one. We never went to the riders or to any team members to say what they could say and what they couldn't, because this is not our approach, this is not our vision. At the end of the day, they always have the right to say whatever they want, because again, they are human beings. What we always tried was to give them, and also other people, also the journalists, points of views, because as always there is many points of view of the same matter. Sometimes it's a matter of time. For example, when there is a technical failure, you need to, okay, you might be frustrated, but you need to wait to understand what happened. This is just an example, but our job, and in my opinion, the press officer job, is never to tell people what they have to say. It's just to help people to understand what's happening in all degrees and all the angles. This is how we interpreted our job.
Yeah, we never be censors regarding the different topics. It is obvious, and every single company in the world had a strategy, has a communication values, has a philosophy, and in the marrow of every company there is a guidelines you need to respect. But we, as Fede said, we never try to censor the riders. We never try to filter the riders. We always try to guide them and to support them on how to communicate better and how to express themselves much better in front of the media, or even in special events with the sponsors. Also, we will try to brief them when something is critical around the team with there is a crisis situation, or this is basically communication ABC in every single company around the world.
That's amazing, because sometimes I feel that some teams do forget about this. So that just shows that the project that you made was pretty special in the paddock. So this is something that I'm really in awe that you did it. I don't know, Fede just went for a coffee, so let's wait maybe for Alberto. Yeah,
maybe he got
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Also,
my oven was.
You saw Vera was also meeting someone at the door because just got a new dog, so coming back to as I just said, that the words that you just said just show that the project was special, and the way you approached the communication was just something special. Maybe it's an ABC, as you said, Alberto, but sometimes we forget about the first three letters of the alphabet and we go to XYZ. So maybe that's the reason. Then, I mean, the championship arrived. I mean, with Jean Mir winning the championship, that was a pretty special time for you guys, for Suzuki winning the championship with this project that some people didn't believe that it may work. So what was the feeling then, and what was did it change the approach of Japanese guys to the project? Or it was just like some people say that when you win the championship, then you know that the next year the budget's going to be cut in half?
No, I think it was a special season for everyone. I think it was so crazy season for us, and it was a kind of bittersweet season, because everything started with the COVID pandemic worldwide, and everything was rare. Everything was really difficult to swallow. Also, the way the championship started, and the way we needed to travel, so many people at home working with Zoom calls, when everything started with Zoom calls. And from my side, it's a really complicated year, but at the same time, it was an amazing year, not only because of the championship, but also because I think, and Fede maybe shared this opinion, I think we felt really proud of ourselves in terms of working, because when the everything started in China, and 1 month later, when the first COVID cases came to Europe, I remember meeting with Fede as soon as possible, and we have so many meetings to speak on how to develop our communication with the media, with the sponsors in social media, and we started to plan so many activities, so many things. And we started with the Zoom calls, Zoom interviews, and the media debriefs. We took profit of the digital platforms even for making video interviews with our riders, video clips with our riders, video messages for the Suzuki distributors worldwide. I mean, it was crazy, and I think we completed a really, really great job that season. It was so difficult because we were switching the races. Fede completes 7 races, I think, and I complete the same amount of races. And was a crazy year, but I think we overall we did a really, really great and unbelievable job. And this is something we should be really proud of, because we changed. My feeling is we changed the way of communicating during these days, and we were such a kind of pioneers in the paddock. And this is something I'm personally I feel really proud of.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit that you were the first guys who approached the whole pandemic situation with the Zoom calls, with the Zoom interviews. You were the first ones. You were the ones that opened the team to the world that was closed. So it was really amazing for me. I mean, some guys will disagree because they travel to all the races. They go they get to meet you every race. For us, for TV from Poland, it's a bit different. We cannot travel because of the budget issues. So for us, for me, it was the best time ever, because I could meet with the riders. I could meet with you, have inside information every week, every weekend. Whenever I asked you for the interview with Jean or Alex, it was there. So yeah, that was something that changed. Do you think that it also changed the communication later on after the pandemic, that the teams just got to see that it can be done like this also for you guys?
To me, thinking afterwards is still kind of a missing opportunity. Let me explain why. During the COVID, we innovated with this new digital communication, which actually was okay. Maybe we were the first, but nothing rocket science. I mean, many companies were already using it. So we just applied in our world. What the shame is that, I mean, there is one thing that we've been told, which was we can reach a wider audience with these digital technologies. From a team and a company point of view, reaching a wider audience is the main objective for any PR guy or marketing guy, So this is something that we should take for serious. The thing is that there is still a lot to do to really take profit of the new challenges and the new opportunities offered by the digital platforms. Also, there are some constraints given by the organization that still makes this difficult, if not impossible. And the other challenge, which might be the bigger one, is to find the good balance between the in-place media and the remote working media, because both of them must receive respect and must be helped. But it's also true that the media that are in place put a lot of efforts for being there, And so they should get something more. They should get something specific. So I think this is the real challenge for the actual press officers and marketing guys, how to make everybody happy with the good distinction and priorities.
Yeah. Also, my feeling is still, compared to other sports like football or Formula One or NFL, NBA. If you check some of the websites of the teams in the US, we have a worrying lack of storytelling yet in MotoGP. I mean, the companies have the power to create much more contents, brand contents, to spread all around, not only with social media, but also to serve the journalists with new stories from the inside. Because you have the capabilities, you have the information, you have the skills, and you have the potential to make much more. It is true also that your daily workouts are consuming of your time and energies, and every day came up new issues or things to do. But I think, in my opinion, is still something that we need to improve in MotoGP. We try a lot, because Fede knows, and we make a lot of brainstorming for new ideas in terms of video contents, photo contents, digital magazine, social media strategy, and we did the as much as possible, but never is enough. And I think in MotoGP we need a big margin of improvement in this matter.
Yeah, because now the championship's gonna change a lot because of the schedule of the weekend. So you think that the things that you said are the things that need to change, because sometimes it feels like we spoke in Misano, Fede. Sometimes it feels that the MotoGP is a bit on the behind the changes of the world and how the communication works. What changes would you see that are necessary?
I don't know if they're behind or beside or ahead. I mean, it's every motorsport. All motorsports share the same logics, but at the same time, every motorsport has different peculiarities. No, so I think that there is a need to change. There is a need to improve, starting from everybody. I mean, MotoGP is a motorsport with prototypes, okay, but we should not forget that they must be linked to the everyday life of the people, and also that it's a show. Being a show, racing on Sunday is not enough, and so the people want to get closer. People now. We are all used with these social media and the new platforms. We are all used to be more and more inside the events, more connected with the events. And so this is the challenge for the next MotoGP, for the next motorsport, is how to reconnect with the public, because at the end of the day, I know it sounds awful, but as a marketing guy, our public is our customers, and so we need to connect with them, and there's no hypocrisy in saying this. We must be aware of that, and we must provide a service, because putting up a show is a service that we provide.
Yeah, it's a reality. I mean, yeah. It's not hypocrisy. I mean, it's a reality. We need to be aware all together, and all the people involved in the sport, from inside to outside. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, and also this is a show business, and there is something that there is a kind of illness inside the paddock to consider that only technology only bikes and mechanics and is the only thing that interests the people. And I think it's the opposite. This is a show business. We need to attract much more different people, bring in new fans. We need to keep our fans, but bring a lot of new fans. The broadcasting should be more open, and also and this is a message for all the team managers in the paddock. Because you have Formula One in parallel, and you have a lot to learn from them. And this is as a show business, you need to push much more on marketing side, communication side, sponsorship side, and exposure and brand awareness. This is crucial. And so far, the marketing and communication and sponsorship teams are too short to give the proper value to the sport.
I mean, we spoke about the challenges for the championship on air and off air, and there was this huge challenge in front of you guys when there was a leak of information on Suzuki pulling out. What was this all about? Were you aware of what was happening, or it was just out of the blue information that fell on your chest during the test?
What happened there? It was a leak, as you said. We didn't be aware of what was going on at that time. We didn't receive any information from the top management of the team. We didn't receive any brief about this. So there were some people in the team who knew before us, but not only the riders, but also some engineers, which is and I'm going to take profit to say this. To me, is not really acceptable as a communication manager, but also Federico as a media officer. I think we didn't receive any brief or information, and we realized that some journalists knew what was going on during the meeting where we were informed by the top management, and when we saw, for example, Alex Rins crying, and we realized that something sharp and tough was happening. And so yeah, I don't know, Fede, but my feeling was really, at that time, was really upset. I was really sad, but also disappointed, but because we didn't have any information. And my feeling is that as the riders were informed almost 1 hour before or 45 minutes before, the leak came from that side. I mean, there is no other possibility. Because also some teams receive some information before us.
My feeling is that I've been taught that in crisis situation there are some procedures in terms of communication, and what happened back that time is that none of those procedures have been put in place to face that crisis situation. And the most hurting thing for me was that we were the two guys in charge of everything, all the communication in that time. And we were the two guys who has not been informed and has not been involved in the process, which left us in an awkward situation when we exited the garage with a lot of questions coming in and no answers that could be given. And this is not a problem of personal. It's not a personal matter, because I think that we both have strong enough shoulders to face these kind of situations from a personal point of view, but from a company point of view was disaster, because we didn't have any information. We couldn't give any information. We when when you speak for a company and you must answer, sorry, I don't know, or sorry, I can't say anything, it's from a communication point of view, is probably the worst thing you can say. But if it's the only option that you have, then that's it. It's so it's okay. I mean,
And on top of this, there were also an extra issue that was that the leak was on Monday after the test when we were packing, but also was the starting of the Golden Week in Japan.
Yeah.
The Golden Week in Japan is like the Holy Week for them, no? Holidays, Holy Week, and so everything is completely closed. So I remember at home that week, and was crazy, full of emails, full of calls from journalists, from even president of Suzuki distributors around the world. What's going on? What's happening? And we didn't have answers. We didn't have official position from the corporation. We didn't have any information to explain to the people, no? Or even to justify something, or defend ourselves in front of some attacks. Because at the end of the day, we are the face of the communication department, and most of the people at that time, in social media especially, were complaining about communication and marketing department in the team. What happened, and I think for us was really painful. Then everything's passed, and you need to be also with a different perspective, because it was a critical situation, critical point for so many people, and also to swallow, to how to inform the people. Yeah, you can understand, or you can see or analyze in a different position once the past some months. But to me, it was I felt really bad.
Yeah, for me, it felt like at this exact moment, the soul of the team was broken. I don't know if you felt the same, because then results went down. This amazing atmosphere that you guys had in the team was just destroyed in 1 second.
Honestly, I don't completely agree on this. Let me say this. For sure, it started a very, very difficult period of our lives, of everybody in the team. But not the family spirit, but the professionalism of each one of us allowed us to compete in the next races and in the next months, because we should not forget that this happened in the beginning of May. Exactly. And the championship ended at the beginning of November, half November. So we had many, many months ahead. We had many, many races ahead. The results at the end of the year were not so good, but the capability of the people in the team to react and keep the heads up and keep working, honestly, in some ways surprised me, and it's something that I'm very proud of, the bunch of people that we were. As always, the soldiers have to pay the decisions of the generals, and but in this situation, I think that we soldiers, we kept the honor up for the team, for the riders, for the maybe not everyone, but the majority of us, and this is something that again makes me really, really proud.
Yeah. Also, I think, and this is something maybe we can overwrite, and is Livio all the time tried to keep our heads up all the time. And he tried to maintain meetings every race. not only to keep our heads up, but also to try to help us, try to explain how was the situation evolving, and also try to find some new ways for so many people. I think to me was quite surprised, because Libya was pretty much involved on this, and try to help everyone, try to keep the the spirit of all the people, all the team, and this is something also help us a lot. But as Fede said, it was no easy, because going to the races and trying to fulfill your spare time to search for a job for new season is not easy. Psychologically, it's quite demanding, and also take out a lot of energy from you. And it was a long and tough season for everyone. But also I'm really proud of all the team, because at the end, also we closed the adventure in the best way possible, with that winning, unbelievable winning in Valencia, which was completely crazy for all of us.
We cried way too much in Valencia.
I wasn't there, but I heard. And also, you made others cry, because you put the benchmark of PR and communication of the team so high that it's going to be pretty hard for other teams to reach this level in coming years. So, thank you very much. Also, thank you for this interview. I do appreciate your time, and appreciate the job that you did, because also for me, you opened the doors for the MotoGP paddock during this crazy pandemic time. Though we met before, but that's what it was.
With pleasure. Our pleasure.
Greg, I have a question for you, just to end.
Damn it.
You said that we set the highest standard in communication.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is something that we felt when we left Valencia, with that unbelievable goodbye that the media center paid to us. My question is, if we raised the bar and if we were so good, why is that we are the only two guys that will not be in the MotoGP paddock this year?
This is a question that I do not understand. I do not understand why. You know the answer to this.
The other team managers, I don't know.
in Portimao during the test, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Then my pass gonna be taken away forever.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
And for sure, the other PR guys are gonna just block me. Guys, thank you very much for this. I'm going to stop recording.
Thank you.